Beyond the Gates spoilers tease that Anita Dupree will continue to prepare for the Articulates reunion event long awaited, not only by fans, but by the original members themselves. Anita, known for her perfectionism and fiercely nostalgic loyalty to the legacy of the group, is pouring her energy into orchestrating every detail. The reunion isn't just a get-together. It's a resurrection of sound, identity, and unhealed tensions buried beneath layers of time. Anita has convinced Tracy and Sharon, her longtime musical partners, to regroup for what is being promoted as a one-time-only performance. They haven't been in the same room for over a decade, not since their final show in 2012, a night that ended in hushed arguments and separate exits. Now, all eyes are on Anita. She walks a tightrope between loyalty to the past and expectations of the present. The rehearsal space she rents is vintage, just like the old studio they used to frequent floor-to-ceiling wood panels, analog soundboards, and incense wafting through the air. Tracy is the first to arrive, exuding her usual calm intensity. Her hair is streaked with silver now, and she carries herself with the dignity of someone who's been both worshipped and forgotten. Sharon arrives 2 days later, flighty and unpredictable as always, trailing an entourage and a documentary crew she's hired to film her comeback. The chemistry is complicated. At first, everyone plays nice. Hugs are exchanged, tears are shed, but once the instruments are picked up and the harmonies attempted, the ghosts start to speak. Anita wants to rehearse the classics exactly as they were. Sharon keeps suggesting tempo changes. Tracy, now a mother of two and a university music professor, wants to reframe the songs with orchestral elements. Conflicts bubble, not as loud fights, but as clipped sentences, side-eyes, and passive-aggressive comments. Just as the reunion dynamics start to settle into an uneasy rhythm, Pamela Curtis re-enters their lives. She was never in the band, but everyone remembers her as Dani Dupree's inseparable friend-to-fixture in the backstage scenes, a quiet observer back then, now a force of nature. Pamela's return isn't just social. She brings ideas, opinions, and disruption. Her presence changes everything. Pamela's first move is subtle but calculated. She organizes a dinner under the guise of rekindling old friendships. The reunion group gathers at a dimly lit Art Deco restaurant. Candlelight flickers across their faces. Between wine refills and reminiscing about old tour stories, Pamela pitches her vision. She wants the Articulates to use the reunion as a springboard for a rebranding. "We can do something bigger than a show," she says. "We can launch a movement." She pulls out mock-ups of a digital media campaign. There are hashtags, a VR concert experience, a streaming-only EP with trap remixes. It's bold, fast-paced, and unlike anything Anita envisioned. Sharon is intrigued. Tracy remains silent. But Anita bristles. She wants vinyl, grainy footage, and legacy. Pamela's digital-heavy strategy, though trendy, feels like erasure to her. And Pamela isn't done. She's also launched her own creative agency and sets her sights on the modeling company that Dani runs. Once a traditional agency grounded in runway coaching and photographic portfolios, Dani's firm has resisted the influencer wave. Pamela sees this as backward. In her eyes, modernizing means survival. She proposes a total overhaul: influencer partnerships, TikTok runway challenges, AI-generated model simulations. Dani, already overwhelmed with reunion logistics, sees the suggestion as an attack. For her, tradition is more than nostalgia. It's a principle. She argues with Pamela one evening after a particularly draining rehearsal. They're in Dani's office. The blinds are closed. The clock ticks audibly. Pamela leans against the desk with all the confidence of someone used to disrupting systems. "This agency is a fossil," she says. And fossils don't evolve. Dani's response is measured but firm. Maybe some things shouldn't evolve. Maybe they need to be preserved. Word spreads quickly. Staff at the agency whisper about Pamela's plans. Some interns are excited. They post TikToks mimicking Pamela's slogans. But the veteran models and scouts align with Dani. Tension hangs in the air like storm clouds. Meanwhile, back at the rehearsal studio, the music is suffering. The once bright promise of a glorious reunion is dimming under pressure. Tracy becomes the voice of reason, often pulling Sharon aside to mediate. Anita and Pamela avoid direct confrontation, but their icy civility is more unsettling than any argument. One evening, a blow-up finally occurs. They're mid-rehearsal, working on a haunting ballad that defined the group's peak years. Anita insists on the original arrangement. Sharon and Pamela, who's now attending rehearsals regularly, push for a heavier beat and synth overlay. When Anita refuses, Pamela sighs loudly and mutters, "This is why you guys stopped being relevant." The room freezes. Anita, shaking with restrained fury, stands up. "You weren't even in the band." "Exactly," Pamela says. "Which is why I can see it clearly. You're stuck in 2008. Sharon looks between them, uncertain. Tracy walks out. The next few days are tense. Rehearsals are suspended. Dani tries to mediate, but finds herself increasingly conflicted. Pamela is her best friend, but Anita is her sister. Her loyalty is split down the center. In private, Anita questions if the reunion should even happen. She sits alone in the old studio one night, flipping through old lyric notebooks, listening to old demo tapes. Her voice from 2 decades ago sounds both foreign and familiar. She wonders what it all meant, what it means now. Is she chasing ghosts? Or is she fighting to keep something sacred alive? Tracy eventually returns, not because she wants to, but because she believes the music deserves closure. She convinces Sharon to rejoin as well, but only under the condition that they re-record one track with a modern twist. Anita reluctantly agrees. The compromise is uneasy, but it gets the group functioning again. Meanwhile, Pamela, emboldened by mixed support, moves forward with a beta version of her influencer model hybrid platform. She recruits a handful of Dani's younger talents to participate in a pilot challenge. When Dani finds out, she's furious. The betrayal cuts deep. The night before the reunion show, tensions explode. The Articulates are scheduled for a press event. A panel interview. Pamela shows up uninvited and joins them on stage, hijacking the mic to pitch her vision live. "This isn't just nostalgia," she tells the room. "This is a revival. An evolution." Anita snaps. "This was never yours to evolve." What follows is a public unraveling of everything they've tried to hold together. Backstage, chaos reigns. Dani confronts Pamela. Sharon threatens to quit. Tracy begins to regret coming back at all. But the show must go on. Tickets are sold out. Fans have flown in from across the country. Journalists are circling. Everyone is watching. And so, with hearts fractured and trust hanging by a thread, the Articulates prepare to take the stage, unsure if it will be their rebirth or their final bow. An eerie silence falls backstage after the explosive press event. For a few moments, no one moves. The tension between Pamela and Anita hangs heavy in the air, palpable and unforgiving. Dani storms out of the green room, her eyes set like flint, not saying a word to Pamela, who stands defiantly with her arms crossed, refusing to apologize. Sharon leans against the wall, running a hand through her hair, visibly shaken. Even Tracy, who always plays mediator, has nothing left to say. Hours later, the reunion performance begins, but the unity is broken. The set is technically flawless, but emotionally void. Anita powers through the set list like a machine, her face carefully blank. Sharon fakes the energy, overcompensating with dramatic flair that feels hollow. Tracy plays beautifully but without warmth. The crowd doesn't notice nostalgia is a powerful drug, but the group does. Every beat reminds them that they're not a band anymore. They're actors in their own myth. After the show, Anita disappears. No farewell drinks. No backstage photos. Just vanished. Dani tries calling but gets no answer. Sharon shrugs it off, claiming she just needs to cool down, but even she doesn't sound convinced. Tracy returns to her hotel early, exhausted. Pamela stays behind, networking, soaking up attention from younger influencers and managers who see her as a visionary. She's already talking about taking the model influencer hybrid project to new heights. The pilot challenge video has gone semi-viral. She claims this is the future collaborative, fast-paced, built for the screen, not the stage. Dani watches Pamela from across the room, her stomach in knots. The person she once considered her ride or die now feels like a stranger. The modeling agency is in limbo. Some of the senior staff are threatening to walk if Pamela's direction is formally adopted. Clients are confused. Bookings are slipping. The brand identity is diluted. Dani, for the first time in her career, feels powerless. Meanwhile, Pamela is doubling down. She schedules an internal town hall at the modeling agency, inviting press and influencers. Dani finds out hours before and races to the office, arriving just as Pamela is giving a presentation in front of a projector screen pulsing with hashtags and catchphrases. Traditional beauty is exclusionary. Representation must be immersive, disruptive, and digitally optimized, Pamela says, beaming at the applauding crowd. Dani waits until the clapping dies down before stepping up and unplugging the projector. Gasps ripple across the room. Pamela glares at her. "You don't get to silence this," she says. "I'm not silencing anything," Dani says. "I'm reclaiming it." Their argument spills into the hallway, private only in theory. Phones are out. Live streams begin. Pamela accuses Dani of holding the agency back. Dani accuses Pamela of turning creativity into an algorithm. The argument ends with Dani announcing that the agency will not be restructured. Pamela, defeated but seething, walks out. Over the next week, silence falls again. But this one is colder. Sharon flies back to LA. Tracy returns to her family. Anita remains unreachable. Pamela keeps up appearances, attending fashion weeks and panels, but the energy behind her projects wanes. Her influencer model campaign begins to falter. Viewership plateaus. Some of her early backers withdraw. Quietly, a few of Dani's younger recruits return, disillusioned by the performative chaos Pamela stirred. Pamela takes it as a betrayal. One night, Dani finds a voice message from Anita. It's 3 minutes of broken emotion, but in it Anita apologizes. Not for fighting, but for letting it break the music. She confesses she's been hiding out in an old cabin upstate, trying to write again. She says she doesn't want to be famous, she just wants to feel something real. Dani drives out to see her. They talk all night, surrounded by snow and silence. Dani opens up about the agency and Pamela, about fear and control, about legacy. Anita listens, finally free from the pressure of saving the past. In the morning, Anita makes coffee and plays Dani a demo of a new song. It's stripped down, raw, just vocals and acoustic guitar. Dani cries. Back in the city, Pamela begins to unravel. The power rush is over. The attention is fleeting. Her ideas, while provocative, lack staying power. Her connections grow quiet. She starts sending cryptic tweets, then deletes them. Eventually, she shows up unannounced at Dani's office one afternoon. She doesn't look like the Pamela everyone knows. Her clothes are unstyled. No makeup. Just eyes searching for someone to talk to. Dani doesn't turn her away. They sit for hours. No fighting. Just talking. Pamela admits she lost sight of why she started pushing for change. She confesses she never wanted to replace anything. She just wanted to feel seen. Important. When we were kids, she says, you always knew who you were. I was always trying to figure it out. Dani forgives her. Not because she has to, but because she understands. Forgiveness isn't a reset. It's a beginning. Later that week, Dani visits the old rehearsal space. Sharon and Tracy are already there. Anita arrives last, guitar in hand. There's no audience this time. No cameras. Just 4 women in a room, sitting in a circle. They play one song, then another, then silence. No one says it out loud, but it's understood. This isn't a comeback. It's a release. Meanwhile, Dani quietly launches a mentorship program at her agency. It bridges traditional modeling and digital creation, but with purpose. Real connections. Real stories. Pamela joins not as a leader, but as a collaborator. The articulates never officially announce their end. But they don't need to. Their legacy doesn't live in viral videos or hashtags. It lives in the music. In the quiet room where 4 women found their way back to each other. And for now, that's enough. Months later, Dani's mentorship program has matured into something powerful. A hybrid incubator for artists, models, and creators, blending modern influence with grounded, personal mentorship. Alumni begin gaining attention not for their numbers, but for their depth. Quiet revolutions start happening on smaller stages. Pamela finds her rhythm behind the scenes, working in strategy, not spotlight. She hosts small workshops about identity and transformation, often starting them with a confession. I thought disruption meant tearing everything down. Turns out, it means listening harder. Her tone is softer now. Less fight, more clarity. Anita releases her solo EP 5 songs, no fanfare. Just a midnight drop. It spreads slowly, then catches on. Music blogs call it achingly human. The EP climbs steadily, not viral, but persistent. Anita turns down tour offers. She just wants to write. Sharon launches a podcast with Tracy called Second Verse. Each week, they explore stories about second chances, especially in art and identity. Their guest list includes dancers, retired actors, even chefs. Sometimes, it's just the 2 of them, talking about the old days with honesty, not nostalgia. Dani's agency survives and evolves. The mentors she's nurtured begin launching their own programs, creating a ripple effect. Her old-school values of discipline and intentionality, once labeled outdated, become pillars of the agency's resurgence. She's no longer afraid of change, but now she leads it on her terms. One evening, all 4 women meet again at a rooftop lounge, no cameras, no rehearsal. Just wine, city lights, and laughter. There's no agenda. Just shared silence and new stories. Anita raises a glass. To letting go. Pamela adds, and to knowing when to hold on. The glasses clink. Below them, the city hums. A new rhythm. One they don't need to chase, but one they've finally learned how to dance with.